This is WYAR 88.3 FM, the voice of the Heritage Radio Society. WYAR is an independent, non-commercial, educational radio station with programming that encompasses all the best music from primarily the first 60 years of the 20th century. I'm Kent, and you're listening to Theme Street, a show all about the word on the street. And the word on the street today is my hometown, Birmingham.
Birmingham! There's Sam. If you ever get down to Alabama, stop off and see my friend Fat Sam. He's a little butterball who aims to please. With him every night is like New Year's Eve. You find him on the corner front of Shorty's bar with a box back coat and a big cigar. He's always wearing a big wide grin. Just tell him I sent you, and man, you in. That's Sam from Birmingham, always on the ball. That's Sam from Birmingham, as wide as he is tall. If you're on the loose and you want to play, Sam's the man to show you the way. Cause all the chicks fall for his groovy line, and he's ready for a party any old time. If you get a little hungry and you want to eat, tell Sam all about it and he'll give you a treat. Neck bones and beans and catfish too. And what could be better than a good beef stew? That's Sam from Birmingham, always on the ball. That's Sam from Birmingham, as wide as he is tall. He'll tell you about money he's made and spent, and if you're down on your luck, he'll pay you rent. He'll drink and fight and laugh and sing, cause the world don't owe him a doggone thing. He plays poker, coon can, and skin. But listen, all you gambling men, if you're looking around for a real soft touch, don't mess with Sam, cause he's much too much. That's Sam from Birmingham, always on the ball. That's Sam from Birmingham, as wide as he is tall. Now Big Sister Bessie used to spend her days preaching to Sam to change his ways. She followed him around with a book in her hand, trying to make Sam a righteous man. The Sunday congregation was all put out when Big Sister Bessie jumped up to shout. She used to think preaching was her line, but Jack, since she met Sam, she changed her mind. That's Sam from Birmingham, always on the ball. That's Sam from Birmingham, as wide as he is tall. That's Sam from Bam.
Louis Jordan, Fat Sam from Birmingham from 1951. Known as the King of the Jukebox, Louis Jordan was popular from the late 30s to the early 50s. With his dynamic timpani 5 bands, Jordan mapped out the main parameters of the classic R&B, urban blues, and early rock and roll genres with a series of highly influential 78s released by Decca Records. Jordan was one of the first black recording artists to achieve significant crossover in popularity with the mainstream, predominantly white American audience. He's described by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as the father of rhythm and blues and the grandfather of rock and roll, Mr. Louis Jordan. This is WYAR 88.3 FM, and you're listening to Theme Street, the show all about the word on the street. And the word on the street today, Birmingham.
All night long I've rode that train in a native coach from Birmingham just to find my loving Sam. I can't get him off my brain, and beyond the least question of doubt, my aim is to find and straighten him out. Because nobody's fooling Birmingham Bertha. She's had school in Birmingham Bertha. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth's my plan. But just treat me fair and I'm on the level. Try and give me air and I'm just a she-devil. He's on my mind, so I intend to find that man. But at that I'm just the worst Simple Simon that you know. I gave him my diamonds and my dough. But you can bet it, he'll regret it. He's gonna get it, and so don't expect as much as $2 worth of sympathy from Birmingham Bertha. Like the police, I never release my man. Now we's in Chicago, came up here from Birmingham. As I was feeling kind of funny, had to see my honey. I am, yes indeed I am. No more blues in my heart, 'cause we two ain't apart. I found my Sam, that loving man. But all the same, nobody's fooling Birmingham Bertha. She's had school in this particular Bertha. Eye for an eye, jaw for a jaw's my plan. Just treat me fair, and I'll be on the level. Try and give me air, and I'll become a cage of apes to you. And unless I go blind, I always find my man. And to think that he would run out and do me such a low-down, dirty trick. Why, I knew him when he couldn't eat and he wasn't sick. But you can bet it, he'll regret it. Is he gonna get it from this strong-arm mama, and how? So don't expect as much as 2 bits worth of sympathy from Birmingham Bertha. Like the police, I never release my man.
Yonder comes a train, a Frisco train, coming down the railroad track. I'm a-going away, a-leaving today, it ain't gonna bring me back. I'm a-leaving you, good mama, and I ain't never coming back. Dear lady, 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 oh lady, I'm a-leaving town, my baby turned me down, going back to New Orleans. I'm looking for a gal, a brand new gal, I ain't never seen. I'm a-looking for me a mama, Lord, I ain't never seen. Dear lady, 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 oh lady, and I could drink, I'd be drunk all the time. I'd go back to town in Birmingham with the loving mamas of mine. I'd go back to Birmingham with the loving gals of mine. Dear lady, 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 oh lady, if you got a good gal, a good old gal, you sure better keep her at home. 'Cause a red-headed mama, yes sir boy, I can't leave her alone. Yes, a red-headed mama, I sure can't leave her alone. Dear lady, 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 oh lady,
It's a small town they call Bessemer, way down in Alabama. It's a small town they call Bessemer, way down in Alabama. It ain't no great big city, only 12 miles from Birmingham. Me and my daddy buddy, me and my buddy Sam, me and my daddy buddy, me and my buddy Sam. We used to live in Bessemer, but he moved to Birmingham. Play it. My, my. I'm quiet and I'm easy. Baby, don't think that I'm no lamb. I am quiet and I'm easy. Baby, don't think that I'm no lamb. If you want something good, baby, try something from Birmingham.
Dixie down in Alabama, there's a place we all know
called Birmingham.
Everybody starts rocking and shuffling their feet when the drum starts playing that solid beat.
Now everybody's dancing and jumping too. When the music starts rocking, nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with solid sound, a boogie and a jumper called a Birmingham bound.
Now some like the horn with the valve in the middle,
And some like the beat of a big bass fiddle.
if you're dancing in the moonlight, swinging in the breeze, head that piano player taking the key. Whether it's hot or fine or sweet,
If it's down in Dixie, it's got that beat.
we don't have the moon or even the stars, but here's that piano going A to a bar.
Lionel Hampton, Birmingham Bounce, a tune originally written and performed by Hard Rock Gunter in 1950. While Lionel Hampton worked for Benny Goodman in New York, he recorded with several different small groups known as the Lionel Hampton Orchestra. In 1940, Hampton left the Goodman organization under amicable circumstances to form his own big band. From the mid-40s to the early 50s, Hampton led a lively rhythm and blues band whose Decca record recordings included numerous young performers who later had significant careers, including bassist Charles Mingus, saxophonist Johnny Griffin, guitarist Wes Montgomery, and vocalist Dinah Washington. Before that, Jazz Gillum with Birmingham Blues from 1937 with Big Bill Brunzi on guitar, recorded for Bluebird Records. Jazz Gillum was a harmonica player born in Mississippi. Like so many other great Mississippi blues players, he moved to Chicago, which is where he met Big Bill Brunzi. In 1940, he was the first to record the blues classic Keys to the Highway, featuring Brunzi on guitar. Brunzi covered the song a few months later, and his version has become the standard arrangement for this now classic blues tune. We heard from Gene Autry, Birmingham Daddy, from 1934. Autry was a radio, TV, and film star for 3 decades, beginning in the early 30s. He was also one of the most important pioneering figures in the history of country music. His singing cowboy films were the first vehicle to carry country music to a national audience. And we started off our set with Ethel Waters, Birmingham Bertha from 1929. Ethel Waters began her career in the 20s singing the blues, but performed a variety of other music on the Broadway stage and in concert. Waters was the second African American to be nominated for an Academy Award in 1949. The first, Hattie McDaniel, for her role as Mammy in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. Waters was the first African American to star on her own TV show and the first African American woman to be nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award, the great Ethel Waters. This is WYAR 88.3 FM, and you're listening to Theme Street, the show all about the word on the street. And the word on the street today? Birmingham.
Mother dear, may I go downtown instead of out to play and march the streets of Birmingham in a freedom march today? No, baby, no, you may not go, for the dogs are fierce and wild, and clubs and hoses, guns and jails aren't good for a little child. But mother, I won't be alone. Other children will go with me, and march the streets of Birmingham to make our country free. No, baby, no, you may not go, for I fear those guns will fire. But you may go to the church instead and sing in the children's choir. She has combed and brushed her night dark hair and bathed rose petal sweet, and drawn white gloves on her small brown hands and white shoes on her feet. The mother smiled to know her child was in the sacred place, but that smile was the last smile to come upon her face. For when she heard the explosion, her eyes grew wet and wild. She raced through the streets of Birmingham, calling for her child. She clawed through bits of glass and brick, then lifted out a shoe. Oh, here's the shoe my baby wore, but baby, where are you?
Come round by my side, and I'll sing you a song. I'll sing it so softly it'll do no one wrong. On Birmingham Sunday the blood ran like wine, and the choir kept singing of freedom. That cold autumn morning, no eyes saw the sun, and Addie Mae Collins, her number was 1. In an old Baptist church there was no need to run, and the choir kept singing of freedom. The clouds, they were dark, and the autumn wind blew, and Dennis McNair brought the number to 2. The falcon of death was a the choir kept singing of freedom. The church, it was crowded, and no one could see that Cynthia Wellesley's dark number was 3. Her prayers and her feelings would shame you and me, and the choir kept singing of freedom. Young Carol Robertson entered the door, and the number her killers had given was 4. She asked for a blessing, but asked for no more, and the choir kept singing of freedom. On Birmingham Sunday, a noise shook the ground, and people all over the earth turned around. For no one recalled a more cowardly sound, and the choir kept singing of freedom. They once asked of me, how many blackberries grow in the blue sea? I asked them right back with a tear in my eye, how many dark ships in the forest? The Sunday has come, the Sunday has gone, and I can't do much more than to sing you a song. I'll sing it so softly it'll do no one wrong, and the choir keeps singing of freedom.
jolly as can be. Rolly, rolly, jolly, jolly, Birmingham boys are we. You can tell without a doubt when the Birmingham boys are Rolly, rolly, jolly, jolly, Birmingham boys are we. I was tired of living in the country, so I moved my wife to town, and there I bought a cottage, and then I settled down where the dogs in the valley, they go bow, wow, wow, and the pigs in the pen, they go wee, 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 and the cat joins in with a meow, and the rooster on the fence go cock-a-doodle-doo-doo. All them biscuits in that earth, how I wish I had some earth. Ha-ha, they goodness I declare. All them lasses in that place, stop, stop, don't be too late. Ha-ha, they goodness I declare. All them biscuits in that earth, how I wish I had some of them. Ha-ha, they goodness I declare. All them lasses in that place, stop, 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 don't be too late. Ha-ha, they goodness I declare. Birmingham, Birmingham, Birmingham boys are we. If you could live a Birmingham life, how happy you would be, oh, you would be.
In the heart of Dixie in Alabama, there's a place we love called Birmingham. Everybody starts rocking and shuffling their feet when a drum starts playing that solid beat. Now everybody's dancing and jumping too when the music starts rocking. Nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jumper called the Birmingham Bound. Now some like a horn with a valve in the middle, and some like the beat of a big fish fiddle. If you're dancing in the moonlight or dancing in the dark, we all like to dance to an old French horn. Now everybody's dancing and jumping too when the music starts rocking. Nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jumper called the Birmingham Bound. If you like your music going A to the bar, I know a way to make it best before. If the beat gets you moving and you need a good start, let's everybody dance to a steel guitar. Now everybody's dancing and jumping too when the music starts rocking. Nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jumper called the Birmingham Bound. Whether it's hot or fine or sweet, if it's down in Dixie, brother, it's got that beat. We don't have the moon or even the star, but here's that guitar going A to the bar. Now everybody's dancing and jumping too when the music starts rocking. Nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jumper called the Birmingham Bound. When you come down south and you want a good time, just come to a dance when you're feeling fine. Now that's all it takes to spend a happy time. Let's all dance together and have a wonderful time. when the music starts rocking. Nobody's blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound. A boogie and a jumper called the Birmingham Bound.
Red Foley, another version of Hard Rock Gunter's 1950 tune Birmingham Bounce. This was the most famous version of the song and was Red Foley's sixth #1 hit on the folk record chart and spent a total of 15 weeks on the chart. Before that, the Birmingham Jubilee Singers with Birmingham Boys from 1926, recorded in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the B-side of the first group of singles they released on Columbia Records. We heard from Duke Ellington, Birmingham Breakdown, also from 1926. This is the first recorded version of the song. Although widely considered a pivotal figure in the history of jazz, Ellington embraced the phrase beyond category as a liberating principle and referred to his music as part of the more general category of American music. A master at writing miniatures for the 3-minute 78 recording format, Ellington wrote more than 1,000 compositions. His extensive body of work is the largest recorded personal jazz legacy, and many of his pieces have become jazz standards. Before that, Birmingham Sunday, a song written by Richard Farina and performed here by his sister-in-law, Joan Baez. The subject matter is the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church on September 15, 1963, by members of the Ku Klux Klan that killed 4 girls and injured 22. The girls were Addie Mae Collins, 14 years old, Denise McNair, 11, Carol Robertson, 14, and Cynthia Wellesley, also 14. The melody of the song comes from a traditional Scottish ballad named I Once Loved a Lass. Baez's version was used as the theme song of the 1997 Spike Lee documentary about the bombing called 4 Little Girls. And we started off our set with a Dudley Randall poem, The Ballad of Birmingham. It was also written in response to the bombing at the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, a critical piece of Birmingham and civil rights history in the U.S. You're listening to WYAR 88.3 FM, the voice of the Heritage Radio Society. WYAR is only on the air thanks to contributions from listeners like you. If you'd like to keep hearing commercial-free radio playing songs you love and introducing you to new ones, please consider supporting WYAR. You can connect with us at our website at wyar.org or through the good old postal service at P.O. Box 414, Yarmouth, Maine, 04096. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'm Kent, and this is Theme Street, the show all about the word on the street. And the word on the street today, Birmingham.
Yeah, the wind blow, boy. Yeah, the wind blow. Pull your head out the window and hear the wind blow. Write me a letter, send it by mail, dress it all over that Birmingham jail. Birmingham jail, boys, the Birmingham jail. Dress it all over that Birmingham jail. High shape will rest you, bound you over in jail. Can't get nobody to go your bail. can hear the wind blow. That's what we sing it down, you know. Way down home.
Daddy worked $1.25 an hour till he died. Company paid the undertaker, ooh, mama cried. Jesus, what's gonna happen now? I started to pray. Jesus says you'll be shoveling coal to your dying day in Birmingham, Alabama, yeah. Sister called last Christmas Eve from old New Orleans, telling us she's a working girl, you know what she means. County said little brother have to start school come the fall. Till he gets him a pair of shoes, won't be no school at all in Birmingham, Alabama, yeah. Mama tell me get yourself a wife, being alone ain't no fun. More unlikely mama knows our days are about done. Nobody's home now to take care of the child. Children have a way of getting old after a while in Birmingham, Alabama, yeah. $1.25 an hour till he died. Company paid the undertaker, ooh, mama cried. Jesus, what's gonna happen now? I started to pray. Jesus says you'll be shoveling coal to your dying day in Birmingham, Alabama, yeah.
Well, in the heart of Dixie in Alabama, well, there's a place we love called Birmingham. Everybody rocking and shuffling their feet. The music is rocking with a solid beat. Everybody had a good time. Yeah, let's dance. Well, everybody rocking and shuffling too. The music is rocking, ain't nobody blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jump called the Birmingham bounce. But when you come down south and you want a good time, come to a dance when you're feeling fine. That's what it takes to spend a happy time. Let's all dance together, have a wonderful time. Everybody dance now. Birmingham bound, yeah. Everybody rocking and dancing too. The music is rocking, ain't nobody blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jump called the Birmingham bound. Everybody jumping and the dancing too. The music is rocking, ain't nobody blue. A funny little rhythm with a solid sound, a boogie and a jump called the Birmingham bound.
I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. It's the best place I have found. I'm going to quit my running round. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. I went out in Arkansas and thought I'd stay. I went out in Arkansas and thought I'd stay. But the honky-tonks are rough and the beer it sure is tough. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. Oh, the jails in Birmingham sure are gay. Oh, the jails in Birmingham sure are gay. If you get in jail down there, they'll give you conditioned air. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. Got a letter from Birmingham just today. Got a letter from Birmingham just today. From my darling, don't you see, she's still waiting there for me. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. I can hear a train a-comin' this away. I can hear a train a-comin' this away. Oh, she's coming round the bend, it's a good old L&N. I'll ride it to Birmingham, there to stay. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today. It's the best place I have found. I'm going to quit my running round. I'm going back to Birmingham, going today.
The Delmore Brothers, Back to Birmingham from 1940. With their close-knit harmonies and their guitar playing, the Delmores influenced the Everly Brothers and countless other country, rockabilly, and rock and roll artists. Brothers Rabin and Alton Delmore were from a little town outside of Athens, Alabama called Elkmont. By the time Alton was 13 years old, he had published his first original song, a gospel number he co-wrote with his mother entitled Bound for the Shore. From these humble beginnings, Alton would go on to become one of the most prolific songwriters in country music history, writing over 1,000 songs. While recuperating from a childhood illness, Alton had the chance to spend many hours listening to music on the phonograph records and, like so many others, fell under the influence of Jimmie Rodgers. Before that, Charlie Fess Johnson, Birmingham Black Bottom from 1927, featuring Monet Moore on vocals. Fess Johnson led an ensemble called the Paradise 10, who played at Small's Paradise nightclub in Harlem from 1925 to 35 and recorded 5 times between 1925 and 1929, including Birmingham Black Bottom with the great Monet Moore. We heard the original version of Birmingham Bounce from Mr. Hard Rock Gunter from 1950. Hard Rock Gunter was born in Birmingham and formed his first group, the Hoot Owl Ramblers, in his teens. In 1939, he joined Happy Wilson's Golden River Boys, a country swing group, and acquired his nickname when a van trunk lid fell on him before a show, but he never flinched. He recorded Birmingham Bounce in early 1950 on Birmingham's Bama Records label, the Golden River Boys being renamed the Pebbles on the record. It became a regional hit and led to over 20 cover versions. Gunter's original version has become regarded as a contender for the first rock and roll record, predating the song Rocket 88 by a year. R.B. Greaves gave us Birmingham, Alabama. Greaves was born in 1943, a nephew of Sam Cooke. He grew up on a Seminole Indian reservation, but moved to England in 1963. Greaves had built a career both in the Caribbean and in the UK, where he performed under the name Sunny Child with his group the TNTs. His debut recording, Take a Letter Maria, was released under the name R.B. Greaves and recorded at Muscle Shoals Sound Studio, a studio formed by 4 session musicians called the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section and affectionately called the Swampers, who had left Rick Hall's nearby Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals to create their own recording facility. And we started off our set with Leadbelly, Birmingham Jail from 1948, released on Leadbelly's Last Sections on Smithsonian Folkways recordings. Huddy William Ledbetter was a singer-songwriter notable for his strong vocals, virtuosity on the 12-string guitar, and the folk standards he introduced. There are several conflicting stories about how Ledbetter acquired his nickname Leadbelly. Some say he earned the name after being wounded in the stomach with buckshot. Another theory is that the name refers to his ability to drink moonshine. Big Bill Brunsey thought it came from a supposed tendency to lie about, as if with a stomach weighted down by lead in the shade when the chain gang was supposed to be working. And yet another theory is that it's just a corruption of his last name pronounced with a southern accent. Well, I gotta get on back down to Birmingham, but we'll leave you with one more. This one from Fats Waller. His Harlem Stride style laid the groundwork for modern jazz piano, and he wrote 2 of the best known and most played jazz standards, Ain't Misbehavin' and Honeysuckle Rose. Waller started playing the piano at age 6, and by age 18, he was a recording artist, first recording Muscle Shoals Blues and the one we're about to hear, Birmingham Blues, in 1922 for OK Records. He copyrighted over 400 songs and became one of the most popular performers of his era and one of the most important artists in music history. We hope you enjoy this one by the great Fats Waller, and we really do appreciate you listening today. If you'd like to hear this show or any of the other past shows, go to our Facebook page at WYAR Heritage Radio, or just search online with hashtag ThemeStreetWYAR. And join us next Monday at 7 a.m. for the next episode of Theme Street. What's the word on the street gonna be? Tune in and find out right here on WYAR 88.3 FM. Until next time, I'm Kent, and the word on the street today has been Birmingham.
Birmingham.